have two lists here. We want to go ahead and merge these two lists, only keeping one instance of each value. So we're just going to use a basic XLOOKUP. Keep the NAs and pull the values over. All right, so I've taken our list and I've removed many of the rows to show you that some of our names look very similar here. These two names look very similar, and you can look at the social security number and see that the numbers have been inversed at the end. Sometimes this will happen if you have manual inputs into your system, third-party payroll, large payroll with private contractors. Where I saw this was administrative services only. Regardless, what we need to do is find a quick way to identify these names which may be similar because our unique identifier has been corrupted from what can be very large lists. Okay, we've created our Dev tab here. We're going to take a list of our problem names, and the first issue we see is one of the names doesn't have spaces in it. So the next column over, we're going to create spaces where there's any capital letter. After that, we're going to further break the names out into individual columns. There's any number of formulas you can use to do that. And after we have our names broken out into individual columns, we're going to open up Visual Basic and create our macro. What this does is we find the last row right here. We create a double for loop. This is a nested for loop with a for loop inside of it. And how this works is we take a concatenation of the first name and the last name and the first name, first, middle, last, first, middle. And at first it takes these values and says, are any of these values equal to any of these values, or any of these values, or any of these values? After it gets to the end of the list, it drops down to the next row. It says, are any of these values equal to any of these values, and so on. If there are any matches, we're going to go ahead and print out the value here and the social security number that goes with it. And it works. The easiest way to implement this, especially if you're going to share it, is just to create a simple XLSM and send it through email. It'll look something like this. And they can just paste in or copy and paste in the values and run it. Okay, if you're running this month to month, you'll probably just embed the macro into the process. So let's say we're doing March here. We'll open up February. We'll merge our information, run our finder. Then we can just go through and delete the duplicates, which are incorrect. Run our first process, our second process with our names. Save as March. your list of names and social security numbers were to exceed 17,000 lines, you're going to find that the GUI in Microsoft gets finicky. So we're going to run the same program in Python. Just remember, if you do pull down from a SQL database in Python, you want to make sure that you're in a virtual environment. We use pandas and Jupyter notebooks in this project. So we pulled up the CSV file. Here's the file. We went ahead and dropped the social security number. We split out the names by capital letters and then put them out into their individual columns. You can see we had a problem. The last names didn't go into the last column. So we ran just a simple loop to pull the last names into the last column, changed the nones with zeros, then ran our nested for loop within a nested for loop in order to find the matching names. You can see the names do match. So then we just went to our original data frame and pulled up the rows that you can see here, and we got our list. Okay, to finish the trifecta, I went ahead and did the same project in R. We went ahead and loaded the CSV. Here's the data frame. Came down, got rid of the second column. Data frame 2. Then we extracted, split up the names by capital letters, and then split them out into separate columns. We also had to move the last names to the last column in R. After that, we just ran a very similar nested for loop within a for loop. We matched the rows. And as you can see, the answer is down here. Pulls up the same names. So we took those row numbers and pulled just those row numbers out of the original data frame, and you get data frame 4.
Quack.